ठीक है, start. Okay, guys. So, hi, welcome back. I hope there is no new student over here. There is, then hi, I'm Priyanshu. I'm a fourth year from NLSIU Bangalore. Yes, so let's quickly read through this paragraph number one, paragraph number five, and then we can solve the questions. Okay. Yep. Just take 5 to 10 minutes. Let me know when you're done. Sure, Pranita. Is it fine if I send it in the chat only?
Yes, sir, that's also fine.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I think there is some problem again. Okay, Pranita, give me your email ID.
Sir, I'll just send it by chat one second.
Yep. Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Pranita, have you sent your email?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I got locked out again. Yes, Pranita, send your email ID now in the chat, unless you got it.
प्रियांशु यू कुछ नेट का इशू चल रहा है क्या वहाँ पे या आपके लैपटॉप का इशू चल रहा है?
सर ये लैपटॉप का इशू है सर, फॉर सम रीजन थोड़ी देर बाद ये जूम अटक रहा है, स्पेशली इफ आई यूज चैट और समथिंग,
अच्छा,
और तो उस वजह से थोड़ा इशू हो रहा है.
ओके 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 ओके।
Can someone else just like put this Word document in the chat for Pranita? I'm afraid like I'll like log out again.
Pranita, you are able to open the file now?
1 second, sir. 1 second, sir.
Priyanshu, MP has started with the night curfew, huh?
Yes, sir. I think, but it's not everywhere. I think it's in 3-4 cities only.
Acha.
Last time I reckon, it's
Okay.
basically Indore and 3-4 cities over there nearby. In my area, it's pretty cool. I mean, even the COVID is not that. I mean, people have they don't have any restriction or anything, and like everything seems fine that way.
Okay. Yes. ठीक है. Priyanshu, in case if I log out, it should be not be problem, right? No problem.
No, sir. No, sir. It won't be a problem. Also, like just in case if I mean get kicked out due to any reason, one of you will be made host automatically. So please, actually I'll turn the.
आप वशिष्ठ के साथ में कोऑर्डिनेट कर लेना. वशिष्ठ
ठीक है सर.
को होस्ट and you can coordinate with वशिष्ठ.
ठीक है सर. Anyway, I've turned the waiting room off, so I can come back in any time immediately. Okay. Oh, sorry. Vashish, you were saying something?
Yes, sir. Sir, the last para, can you explain, sir?
Okay, sure. First, let everyone complete and then we can come.
Yeah, yes, no problem.
Okay, is everyone done, by the way? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can we start discussing? Okay, perfect. Yes. Okay, so first of all, let's come to the last paragraph since Vashish asked. Yeah, Vashish, what exactly do you want me to explain? These two terms?
Sir, the meaning of that, sir, the fulcrum of the anguished grievance lays stress on the non-implementation of these particular acts.
Yeah. So fulcrum is basically a part of your skull, I guess, as far as I remember. So it's a metaphor over here. The what it the paragraph is essentially trying to say that the reason problem is still exists, and the main reason why it is even the law hasn't been able to like just like wipe it out is just because that the two laws, that is, one you see the act and the other you see the rules, the act and the underlying rules have not been implemented properly. That means even though the act is there, it says that okay, it is punishable with imprisonment and all that shit, still people are just like misusing it big time, and then non-implementation is the biggest issue. So that's essentially what the paragraph is trying to say.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, anything else? So yeah, I mean, it's kind of straightforward. So what does this paragraph essentially talks about, and like what are the arguments does it put forward? Anyone?
Female infanticide.
Female
I mean
infanticide.
feticide, not
Yeah.
even feticide.
Yeah, I mean in general, both of it actually to an extent. So yeah, I mean the first paragraph essentially starts with like some statistics and why it is a problem over here, and secondly, like again over that, and third, I mean, then there's nothing. Then finally, the last two paragraphs talk about the law and the steps which have been taken by the government. Okay, so let's come to the 5.1. So 5.1 is a state of Hangama land, realizing the rise of prenatal diagnostic centers in urban areas of the country, using prenatal diagnostic techniques for determination of sex of the fetus, formed a team to crack down any possible violation of the act and the rules. During a visit to center, they found irregularities such as non-availability of a copy of the PCPNDT Act at the time of inspection, non-display of notice in the premises, declaring that the disclosure of sex of fetus is prohibited under law, non-display of name and designation of the dress worn by the nurse, employees, and other people associated with the fetus determination techniques. Based on the author's reasoning, what is the best possible step to check the menace? So number one should be let off with a stern warning. Number two, technology of diagnostic technique should be held illegal right away. Three, offenders of the act and the rules must be punished with imprisonment. And number four, officers should be given regular legal training, teaching to check the violations. What do you think is the answer?
So
C, sir.
Okay.
The B.
Okay. So we have
Sir,
A, B.
C.
Yeah, we have A, B, C. Let's start with A. Who said A?
sir, me, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Why do you think so?
So because there's no solid proof that they have disclosed the sex of the fetus, they have only shown the signs that they are not displaying the particular act, or they have not displayed any board telling that it is punishable. But there's
Okay.
no proof that they have violated the law.
Right. Yeah. Good. Good. Fair enough. And who said B?
Lasya.
Yeah. Hi, Lasya. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think so?
Because they wouldn't check the sex of the baby if they didn't have the diagnostic techniques. So there wouldn't be this problem in the beginning at all. This is
Right.
mostly for female feticide. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Who said C?
Sir, Dimple.
Yeah. Hi, Dimple. Yeah. Why do you think it's C?
Sir, because they have all the techniques for determining the sex of the fetus, and they don't even have the papers and the the right to have all those things, and it's almost saying that they are ready to disclose the sex of the baby, so it's actually a punishable offense.
Okay. Yeah. Any else opinion on these three options, or somebody's of the opinion D? Anyone? Okay. In my opinion, it's C. The reason is this. Yeah. So the reason is this. Yeah, Vashisht and Lasya, fair enough, good enough reasoning. But the problem with this is that the way this act and the rules have been drafted, if you just like look at it, it is saying that for the prevention of the misuse of diagnostic techniques, right? So for you have to you have to prohibit the sex selection. That means you cannot know what is the sex of the baby, and then secondly you have to prevent the misuse of those techniques, right? So okay, I understand that, okay, there is no explicit reason, there's no explicit proof that they actually committed a female feticide or like determined the sex of any baby. But right now, the way the act and the underlying rules have been drafted, they have also given certain guidelines, right? That the nurse and all the people who are associated with the clinic should have a distinct dress, so that other people can identify. Then you know they have to like put up a poster, they need to have certain registration, and then the designation and all must be there, and all the violations you can see in the question itself, right? That all these are the violations which have been done, and if there is any violation, then it is punishable with imprisonment, right? So yeah, I mean, the act itself is not really about punishing for female feticide. It is actually to force all the centers to deploy certain preventive techniques, and if they don't do that, they will be filed with imprisonment. Because the problem is that it's very difficult to understand who did and who didn't, right? Because in criminal law the burden is really high, and it is very difficult to prove that someone did it. So the government is saying, okay, fine, in order to prevent that, you have to follow these guidelines, which will ensure that this doesn't happen. And even if it happens, that's a different ball game. But even if even if you don't follow these regulations, then then it is a violation of the act, and you will be punished with imprisonment. Dimple, the reason B is not the answer is because, I mean, so basic reasoning is that it's not.
So I said C.
Okay, yeah, last year said B. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. Yeah, last year said B. So the reason B is not the answer is because, I mean, the problem is not the technology, right? I mean, those diagnostic techniques are also used in a lot of major treatment, which might not be possible otherwise, and that might, I mean, put the life of a lot of patients in danger. The problem is the misuse of the technique. So rather than you cannot just like held that entire technique right away, because it has a positive side on the coin as well. What it's trying to say that, okay, use it but don't misuse it, and these are the guidelines which are given, and most of them have been in a cryptic way produced in the question itself. They are basically saying that, okay, fine, use it but don't misuse it, and that is the reason answer is C. Okay. Any confusion in this?
Excuse me, sir. According to this act, is the couple liable or the doctors liable?
The doctor's liable, couples are not liable.
Okay.
Because the question doesn't, couples will be liable if you can prove that there has been a case of female feticide. That's not the case over there. I mean,
Okay.
the center is not following certain guidelines, and that is the violation we are talking about.
Okay.
Okay. Right. I'm sorry. Based on the author's reasoning in the passage, which of the following is the most critical inference that can be made from the above passage? A. Misuse of diagnostic techniques to conduct sex selective abortions is one of the reasons for the rapid decline of the sex ratio since 1901. Improvement in the technology of diagnostic techniques has led to an increase in abortions. Fear of imprisonment is critical for the act to work successfully. The unregistered clinics are mainly responsible for the declining sex ratio. What do you think? Anyone?
I think it's A.
Okay.
A.
Okay. A. Who is this?
The
Kirti.
Vasishta.
Okay, Kirti. Oh, Vashisht and Kirti. Okay. Yeah. Anyone else for any other option apart from A?
C.
I'm sorry.
C.
Okay. And anything else? Okay, let's start with C now. Unless anyone else, any other option as well. Let's start with C. Why C?
Um, because
Who is
I
this
don't know.
though, by the way? I cannot see your name. Okay, Lasa.
Last, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I this is like what I inferred, but I think that if there is fear of imprisonment, then not a lot of people won't go ahead and like check the sex of the baby.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And A, Kirti Vashisht, any reasoning for A?
So A because
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So even in the previous question, we like discussed this because it was because of the misuse of technology and not because the invention of the technology.
Right. Okay. Vashisht, anything else?
so they have asked about the inference. So the author is trying to tell over here about why all these like unpredicted sex ratios are occurring.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So yeah, I mean, A is correct. Who was this last? Last was for C, right? Or Kirti was for C. Who was that? Okay. Anyway, yeah. C is okay. Right. C is a fair. Uh, yeah. C is a fair point. But the problem is C is that this is not something which is critically coming from the passage. Now, if you look at the passage, the only thing it says is this, that violation is punishable in imprisonment under the act. Now, it is a fact which has been given, right? And yes, I mean, it's a general sentiment that, okay, if you impose imprisonment for something, then obviously, like, um, then people will be deterred. There will be a deterrent effect, and therefore, like, the commission of the crime will reduce. But now that theory is being challenged again, that's not the point here. The point here is that um I mean, apart from this one line that states a fact, there is no other inference which lays stress upon, the importance of imprisonment. But if you look at the couple of paragraphs as a whole, it just comes out very clearly that, you know, the misuse of these techniques is the main reason. And if you think about it, the government has especially made an act for this and underlying rules, right? So it must be a significant. They could have like said that, okay, prevention of female feticide act, but they are saying okay, preconception and prenatal diagnostic techniques prohibition of sex selection act. So I mean, the act itself refers to that. I mean, the misuse of these techniques is the main reason why these have increased so much. So I mean, that's my reasoning. So yeah, I mean, in my opinion, A should be the answer. Yeah. Any doubts on these two questions?
So first one was C, right?
First one was C. First one was C. Um, yeah, first one was C, and second one is A. Yeah. Any doubt on this? Anyone? Vashish, Kirti, Lasya, Dimple, anyone else?
No, sir,
Amit?
not.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Third question. Vijayla, a married woman, was brought to a hospital by her husband. She was having four daughters, and she was again pregnant. They visited Dr. Rachel, who is an obstetrician and gynecologist. This couple wanted to determine sex of the fetus. Dr. Rachel, using one sonography machine, determined the sex of the fetus of Vijayla. It was female fetus. Authorities Authority booked Dr. Rachel under the act. It also came out that one more case of legal termination of pregnancy abortion was filed against her in the past. The act is recently amended, prohibiting bail to anyone accused under the act. Based on the author's reasoning, should the bail be granted?
So
A,
I have a doubt.
yeah,
Was the baby aborted or is it just like I don't know.
no. It wasn't. The question doesn't say it was aborted, so it says it was a female fetus. So solely for determination of that, she was booked. Dr. Rachel was booked. Now, it came out that they have already there's one more case in the past. Um, now the act is recently amended, prohibiting bail to anyone accused under the act. Based on the author's reasoning, should the bill be granted or not? Bail
I
should.
think C.
Okay. C. Okay.
C,
Vashi.
sir.
C. Who
C,
is this?
sir. C.
Okay. Who is this?
Lasya.
And one more person.
Dimple.
Vashish.
Okay. Dimple, Lasya, Vashi. C. Yeah. Anyone else for C or anyone else for any other option?
C, sir, but I have a doubt.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go down to question D. Um, shouldn't it be bail? Is the option written wrong or is the option written correctly?
I'm sorry. Option D.
Yeah, is the option itself written wrong or is it written correctly?
I think option is correct. I'll explain that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's come to C. All four of you. Anyone who would like to explain why do you think it's C? Anyone?
Sir, it is clearly amended in the Act that bail should not be granted.
But the question is, should it be granted? So it's a normative question. It says it, okay, if you like follow the author's reasoning, is it appropriate to not to grant bail to someone who has been accused under the act? That is the question. So they are not asking can she be granted bail. The question is should she be granted bail or not? What do you think?
So the other two options for why the bail should be granted is
Hmm.
actually not that reasonable.
Hmm.
The second option says that she's a female doctor,
Hmm.
which is not that satisfying. But the first one also isn't that satisfying.
Right.
Sir,
Comparing to C and D, C is actually the better option.
Okay. Yeah. Good enough.
sir, can you
Yeah.
explain option D once?
Right. Sure. Yeah, so option D is basically talks about securities and a passport. So what happens is that whenever, I mean, a bail is granted under criminal law, generally a bond is signed by the bond is like made to be signed by the authorities or the security deposit. So you have heard that you have to pay money for the bail, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
that
sir.
is essentially bond of security. So they do it like as a preventive measure so that the person doesn't run away. So with that for that logic, they just make you I mean furnish a security or sign a bond. Worst
Sir,
case, yeah.
sir, even after he got the bail, he can't move freely.
I'm sorry.
Like if a person is like he's
Yeah,
under
yeah.
jail, then he got a bail after like say 3 years.
Hmm.
So he's not able to like move freely.
No, I think you're talking about something else. You're talking about like after a person has been convicted.
Yeah,
That is parole. That is parole. That is different. Parole is when on like when you are just like given sort of leave from your imprisonment due to any certain reason, and then there is probation if your conduct is good, and then like you are I mean you are let out on probation. Bail is simply when the case is filed against you, you're an accused in a case, and then you just like furnish security, be like, okay, I'll cooperate. So the underlying idea is that okay, I'll cooperate with the investigation, I will not run away or something, and I am like a bona fide member of the society. Just don't keep me in jail. Let me live wherever I do. As soon as your investigation conclude, as soon as a trial goes on, and as soon as I'm convicted, you can anyway like put me in jail. But till the time I'm convicted, let me out. So that is the concept of bail. Okay. So that
yes, sir.
so okay, so like security or bond, like you have to furnish. And in some cases, they also like deposit your passport in case like they have a fear that you will leave the country.
Sir, so D option is bail should not be granted itself.
um it Yeah, I mean I think Aniket was correct. It should be bail should be granted provided she furnishes security. So it essentially should say that okay, the bail should be granted as long as she furnishes security and
Exactly.
deposits
So
Yes,
I
money.
sir.
think
Then
D
it's
is the
B.
correct answer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Then
sorry,
D, sir.
yeah, my bad. So it should be D or C.
D. Also, sir, do
Yeah,
you get the money back whether you're convicted or not?
I don't think you get it if you're convicted, or I'm particularly not sure honestly. I think
Okay.
it's more of a practitioner's question. I've never had a chance to like work on like significant criminal law cases in my internship.
Okay. Okay.
So but yeah, I'll ask around and let you
Okay.
know.
Fine.
Yeah, D is I think C is correct, because again, I mean, you have to take an answer on the basis of author's reasoning, and like the way the passage itself is written, it's very clearly saying that okay, the passage, the tone of the passage that okay, the act is being misused and all. So I think following that, I think C is in my opinion more appropriate option going by the
But
passage.
so if you scroll up back to the question,
Yeah.
no, yeah, no. So it says that she determined the sex of the fetus of she determined Vijaya's fetus's sex, right? And she was booked under the act.
Yeah.
And then it came out that illegal termination of pregnancy abortion was filed against her in the past, right? But that
Hmm.
was the past, not currently. So she's not accused of that currently. All that she's accused of currently is revealing the sex of the fetus. But
Yeah.
option C says that anyone accused of killing the womb and committing feticide. She's not accused of killing the womb or committing feticide in this case.
Hmm.
So it doesn't add up with what's there in the question.
Hmm. Should not be granted to any accused found killing the womb and committing the feticide. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Sir, but then they have not given anything about the security and deposit of a passport in the passage. So how
Hmm.
will that come under the author's opinion?
Yeah. I mean, author's opinion is kind of broad. It's just like saying, कि, okay, the act is being misused. Stop the misuse of the act.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, C is fine, sir. Because it has been written that anyone accused of found killing the womb. But coming to D, she has already been terminated once before also. So, uh, so again, they will obviously not grant bail, no, sir. This was
No,
the
but
second time she conducted the.
no, but
True.
you don't know whether she was convicted. Aniket is actually right. You
Okay.
don't know. It says case was filed against the past,
So
which
actually, the
basically
case was filed in
you
the
can.
past, so now the
Yeah.
act has been formed.
No, this is. I don't think this is like a correct inference. It might be. It might not be. Both the options are there, but the problem is that it says it was filed against her in the past. But if she's still practicing that, not necessarily, but like a good enough inference is that she was not convicted.
Sir, she may also be in bail also.
I'm sorry.
She may already be in bail, sir, while she was practicing. She might be in
Hmm,
bail for the
possible.
yes, sir, for the first
But
case.
yeah, I mean, there are a lot of like permutation, combination, the question itself. Actually, let's like circle this question. I'll discuss with someone. Okay, I'll just like maybe get back in the next class. Please remind me. I nowadays I tend to forget a lot of things. So please just like in next class, just like remind me once. And if anyone can just like drop a text about like, the question, maybe tomorrow. That's great.
Yeah.
Yep. So. Learn the author's reasoning. Which of the following is not true according to the passage? A. Female feticide is made punishable, witnessing the continuous decline in sex ratio. Lacks implementation of the provisions of the PCP and DP is a contributory factor in the declining ratio. Killing a fetus in the womb, particularly in a big plot against the is a big plot against the very definition of civilization. Female feticide can be a solution in the countries dominated by females to equalize demographic balance. I don't think there should be any doubt in this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a D clearly. It's sort of odd one out also. You don't even need the question. Yeah,
Sir,
yeah.
So is right to life applicable for the fetus?
Right to life.
Yes, sir.
I don't think so. No, because I mean, I'll them. I mean, I'm not sure if there's a case which says that okay, fetus should be considered a person. But if you read Article 21, which essentially like is an article on right to life and personal liberty, it starts with no person or every person. Yeah, no person. So it is like you have to be a person in the first place. That's what my understanding of Article 21 is. And fetus is like still an object. And if you think about it, fetus, if you just like kills a fetus inside somebody's womb, it is not considered murder because IPC doesn't envisage like a fetus as a person. It is called miscarriage. But the moment like even if one part of the body is out of the woman's body, then it will automatically turn into a person. So like if like let's say half, if the head of the fetus is out, and then if you kill that, that will be murder. But as long as it is inside, and if you just poison that woman or like just like kick kick her in the stomach because of which it dies or whatever, in that scenario it doesn't it is not called murder, it's called miscarriage. So I think like
Okay.
generally law doesn't like envisage fetus as a person.
So, but
Yeah,
as far as I know, you aren't allowed to have an abortion after 14 weeks, right?
yeah, yeah.
So after that, it's considered a person.
Not necessarily actually. I mean that is a different law. I mean I don't think that law was made that law was made um keeping in mind that okay after 14 weeks it can be considered a person. I think the reasoning behind that law is that before 14 weeks it is still in a like a very prenatal stage. So like it's a balancing act between a couple's autonomy to decide whether they want to have the child or not, versus like the prohibition of like illegitimate abortions, basically killing a full-fledged fetus. So they are saying that okay, if you're unsure whether you want to have a child or not, decide till 14 weeks. Once that limit is crossed, then you cannot do that, right? And that's also because like after that, it's easier to determine whether it's a male or a female. So that's another reason. So like it has both the perspective, the female feticide obviously, and then this one. The way I understand
Okay, okay, got it.
it. Rising negative sex ratio impacted the society adversely. The impact is that millions will remain bachelors. The negative sex ratio will lead to social perversion, strife, explosion of AIDS and HIV. Above all, it is going to upset the social tranquility. Okay. One, initiating a social movement, social awareness campaign, stringent application of law, providing incentive for girl children, stern warning by relaxing the penalty clause of stern warning by relaxing the penalty clause of imprisonment, uh, provision to grant bail if there's a low doctor to patient ratio, make bail a rule and jail an exception, making jail a rule and bail an exception. Based on the author's reasoning, which of the following will help in arresting the trend of negative sex ratio and its impact? So yes, what do you think?
I think it's 1237.
Okay, anyone
So
else?
A.
A,
So
okay.
A.
Okay, everyone is A. Yeah, I think it's sort of straightforward, right? Yeah, any confusion in this, by the way?
No, sir.
Okay, let's come to the last one. Santoshi is a doctor by profession. She possesses the educational qualification as MBBS and DGO. She started her practice and installed sonography machine in a hospital. One day, a regional vigilance squad inspected the ultrasonography center. Based upon the report of the inspection, the Vigilant Committee has noted that the violation of various sections of the Preconception and Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques, blah blah Act, and many rules of blah 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 rules. Vigilance Committee seeks to seize the operations of ultrasonography center. Based on the author's reasoning, should ultrasonography center be seized? Okay, she will. Yeah. A ultrasonography center should not be seized. It will reduce the health infrastructure of the country. Vigilance Committee should seize the hospital immediately as they are operating in violation of law. Ultrasonography center should not be seized. Vigilance Committee should deal with the matter in accordance with the law. Um, and D, hospital can remain in operation if they deposit the fine imposed by an appropriate authority. Yes. Again, author's reasoning, keep that in mind. What do you think?
So
So
B.
C.
Okay, why C?
So because anything if you're like doing in like from like informing the government, so you should first like inform the government like you are doing this something or other.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I think
Yes.
C is correct. I mean, C is the most reasonable option that okay, you can do whatever you want, but you have to do
Like under the government.
in accordance with the law, not under the government, in accordance with the law. So
Yeah.
follow what the law says.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Sir, but can you refer the same thing to the first question?
First
Over
question.
there, just because they violated that, they didn't put up those posters of the act and all, they could be arrested. That was also on the author's assumption. So why can't it be B over here, sir?
Yeah, it's B only. I'm saying why it cannot be C. I agree
Okay,
with
okay,
you, B.
okay, sir.
So yeah, the reason
My
it's
bad.
not C that I agree, like it's in accordance with the law. But yeah, I mean you have to catch what authors, you know, author is trying to say about the whole issue, and like author is saying very strongly that okay, do whatever the hell you want to do, but stop it. So like B captures it better as compared to C. So yes, any confusion in this entire thing? Okay, so let's quickly read number six. Take 5 minutes, read it, and then we can discuss.
Repeat the fifth answer.
I'm sorry.
So fifth answer.
Yes, fifth answer. This one,
No, sir. Below that, 5.6.
B. B. Okay. Do you want me to explain the reasoning,
What
please?
is
Yes, sir. Thank you,
5.3
sir.
again?
I'm sorry.
What is 5.3 again?
5.3. Just one sec. 5.3 is yes. We circle this question because we are like kind of confused. D cannot be. I mean, C is more appropriate, but C doesn't really go with the question, the facts we have at hand.
So we just leave it.
Yeah, for now, like whenever I take my next class, I would have discussed with sir or someone else, and then perhaps I can
Okay, sir.
reflect
Thank
anything.
you.
Okay, I can. Yeah, okay. I'll just close it next time only. Yeah, just read number six for now.
Sir, what is the meaning of proliferation?
I'll explain this. Complete it first. Proliferation basically means production.
Okay.
So, what is browbeating style of business?
Browbeating basically means, I think, beating around the bush. Like it's basically not talking in substance, but like just tapping around. No, wait. I think I'm mistaken. Wait. Yeah, it's intimidate. Sorry, bully. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are we done? Hello.
Yeah, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anyone? Anyone else is left?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So,
Yes, sir.
Browbeating basically means, I think, beating around the bush. Like it's basically not talking in substance, but like just tapping around.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So let's come to it. Um, so yeah, proliferation is slightly different from production. It's sort of like rapid production of of something, right? So like when you try to like increase the production of something, it's normally called proliferation. Now let's come to it. Does anyone has any idea like about the context in which this entire thing is going on? Like if you have like read in the news in the past 2 3 years, if I'm not wrong. Anyone?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Western nations are pushing for the CTBT to be ratified by all the nuclear powers in the world.
Hmm. And
They're pushing for disarmament, and they're pushing for countries to desist further proliferation and further nuclear tests.
hmm. Okay. And anything else?
So does it say that the countries want to keep their nuclear weapons for the sake of self-defense?
I'm sorry. What?
That the countries want to preserve their nuclear weapons and for the sake of self-defense.
Um, so it's slightly more politicky. So the thing is, it started actually way back. So US and Russia normally had like enough of like so actually the problem is that there are actually a very few countries who have like the nuclear weapons, right? So for example, US, Russia, France, UK, these were the initial ones uh, who had this capability, all because of their history and everything. Now what happened was now there has been like especially like as an aftermath of World War II, and like after some years like World War II actually like saw like lakhs of people dying in those two nuclear bombs. So after that there has been like a demand globally that to eliminate nuclear weapons, right? So there is this group NSG, if you have heard about it, National Nuclear Supply Group. And there is one treaty which is called NPT, Non-Proliferation Treaty, and there is one treaty which is called CTBT, which is a Comprehensive Nuclear Ban Treaty. It came way back, I think, in somewhere around 1986 or something. I was just like checking on the internet. Um, yeah, it was floated in just one sec. Yeah, it was floated in 1996, but it hasn't been like ratified till date. So the problem is this. So the countries are essentially saying that all the main like 5 6 countries who are basically part of the UNSC, they are saying that okay, let us have it, and nobody else will have it. Okay, so that is their position. So basically, China, US, Russia, France also, I guess. So that is their position. India's position is that if you want to eliminate the nuclear weapons, then like eliminate it completely. No country should have the nuclear weapons then. What is the discrimination that okay, some major countries are allowed to have it, but others are supposed to eliminate theirs? Okay, so non-proliferation treaties basically is basically aimed at like stopping the increase of increasing your nuclear weapons, and comprehensive nuclear test ban treaties basically that don't do the nuclear test anymore. So I mean, if you remember Pokhran 1, which was during Indira Gandhi's period. So in that there was actually so when we did Pokhran, then we had a long feud with US. I mean, they actually sent their military ships towards India. So that was a huge dispute, and India wants to keep it because our neighbors are nuclear capable. So Pakistan has nuclear weapons, and China has nuclear weapons. North Korea has also nuclear weapons. So there Israel has also nuclear weapons. So these are like 7 8 countries who are like saying, okay, we won't give it. We won't just like eliminate it, because again, if you want to eliminate, then force every single country to eliminate, otherwise don't. And our problem is that it is dangerous for the security because our neighbors have it. So it's like you do it, then I do it, I'll do it, then you do it. So it's that kind of a situation over there. And the reason we haven't been able to get into NSG because China is already a member of NSG. And there's a general understanding that in order to get into NSG, you have to sign NPT, and NPT has the same problem, that it's saying that okay, eliminate nuclear weapons except some countries. So they are like, okay, if you make it uniform, we will sign NPT. China is like, unless they'll sign NPT, we won't let them get into NSG, and NSG is important for renewable power energy. So like it's a long politics solely over nuclear weapons all over the globe. So yeah, I mean, sorry for the long lecture, but
So currently, like they are even producing now also nuclear weapons.
India has nuclear weapons, but we are facing certain disadvantage because we are not a part of
So like
NSG.
we are like preparing it, or we are borrowing it from other countries.
We have, I think we did it way back. I think when in what year Pokhran happened? Okay, check sometime else. So Pokhran was the first test we successfully conducted for them, and yeah, I mean we do have nuclear weapons in India. So yeah, 6.1 based on the authors
So it was 18th May 1974.
1974. Okay.
18th May.
And this passage actually mentions Pokhran 2, if not Pokhran 1.
Sir, I think we recently had a nuclear test, like in I think in Chennai or Puducherry.
Yeah, possible. I don't remember reading anything, but yeah, I might have missed the news, and I tend to do that a lot. So yeah, based on author's reasoning, of the following incident does not follow in the context of the passage. Only because of Pokhran 2, the US had accepted Indian Prime Minister's assertion about India's nuclear policy. The of rounds of talks were being held at least three countries, the US being the mediator. Indian Prime Minister has assured the world that it will not initiate nuclear attack on any nation. Indian cannot forego its nuclear and national interest in the altar of international concern. The national interest requires balancing with the international apprehension related to nuclear apprehension. Okay, so which of the following does not follow in the context? Yeah. So what do you think?
The A,
Okay, why A?
because the third and fourth point are mentioned in the paragraph, but then the other two aren't.
Okay, where is third, by the way?
Um, it starts in the second paragraph. The word tempers had cooled.
Okay, yeah, okay. So we have three, we have four, and one and two. Are you sure two is not there?
No,
Okay,
but that is the only option without.
no, but
Two says that it was held with three countries
three
and the
countries.
mediator, but in the passage it says it was held between only
Okay,
the US and India.
yeah, right. And I don't think one is the option either. I don't think they had accepted our assertion, did they?
Yeah, but they were liable for. The
No,
US was predisposed to accept our prime minister's
Okay,
repeated
okay.
assertion. So I think yes, sir, they accepted.
So only two, but we don't have any such option.
no. They accepted it, but they accepted it despite of Pokhran 2. Because if you go back up and you'll see that after tempers cooled from Pokhran
Hmm.
2, so they had to wait until after tempers cooled from Pokhran 2. So Pokhran 2 didn't help; it delayed it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
In the aftermath of Pokhran 2.
Actually, you can say that because it says only because of Pokhran 2. So what are you saying? One floats on the passage or not?
Sir, I think it does.
Yeah, two is definitely not there. I mean, that's for sure.
Sir, option D, all the three, which three options are they referring to, sir?
Sir is not there in the meeting, right?
No, no. I guess he'll come to the admit room.
He said that he's reconnecting. He'll join in 2 minutes.
Hi, sorry. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. My laptop, just bear with it today, please. Yes. Yeah, let's skip number one for now. Can you see the screen now? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Suppose India, US, suppose India, US started negotiating foundational agreement for mutual logistics support. The Logistic Exchange Memorandum of Agreement, LEVOA, the pact gives both countries access to designated military facilities on either side for the purpose of refueling and replenishment of in primary four areas: port calls, joint exercises, training and humanitarian assistance, and disaster relief. During the negotiations, US attempted to bring the WTO issues, which such as trade financing, global value chain. Government
So what was the first answer?
I'm sorry. It's actually only two is the one which doesn't come out, but we don't have any such option over here. And I think like this is, I think this has been copied from somewhere else because it says all the three, and there are four options in fact over here. So yeah, let's just like leave it for now. Again, I mean, please remind me sometime in the next class. Okay, so yep. So trade financing, based on the author's reasoning, what could be the real intention of the US in bringing other issues along with the nuclear issue to the fore? The real intention of the US is to suppress India's nuclear ambition. The real intention of the US is to incur the goodwill of India's enemy. The real intention of the US is to deter India from going nuclear in a big way. The real intention of the US is to use it as a negotiation tactic. What do you think?
D.
Okay. Yeah. Why D? Hello?
Yeah, sorry. There's no mention of India's enemy. Um,
Yeah. Hmm.
can
Fair.
you, yeah, can you,
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. 6.2. Yeah.
yeah. The real intention of the US is to deter India from going nuclear in a big way. Again, don't really think that's correct.
Doesn't come out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and suppress nuclear's ambition again. It doesn't come out.
Also doesn't make sense. Yeah. Fair
Yeah,
enough. I mean, the elimination is only fine. They are
yeah,
basically trying to use a negotiation tactic that, I mean, give us something in a way like just lure us so that they can just like get us to agree what exactly that they want. So yeah, any confusion in this? Okay, the next one. Which of the following views can be correctly attributed to the author of the above passage about India's planning of nuclear rearmament? A. India's planning of nuclear rearmament going to receive a lot of acclaim. India's planning of nuclear rearmament is going to be appreciated by other countries with few reservations. India's planning of nuclear armament is a matter of is a matter that irritated most of the countries. India's planning of nuclear armament is not considered a deterrent policies by the enemies. What do you think?
So, is A and C similar?
No, it's opposite. No, lot of acclaim, and B is like you're basically annoying everyone else.
I think it's C, sir.
Yeah. Anyone else? Any other option?
So sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah.
6.2 was C, right?
6.2 was C. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
No, sorry. It was D. D.
Yeah, I got confused.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. 6.3. Yeah. C. Any other option? Okay. Yeah, it's C actually. It's I think pretty straightforward actually. It's actually irritated most of the other countries. So yeah, 6.4. Recently, the government of India introduced a nuclear liability bill. Bill is a controversial piece of legislation. Bill aims to provide a civil liability for nuclear damage and prompt compensation to the victims of a nuclear full stop. Certain objections against the bill are that it allows only the operator to sue the manufacturers and suppliers. Victim will not be able to sue anyone else, anyone and limits the time to make the claim within 10 years. This is considered to be too short as there may be a long-term damage due to the nuclear accident. Will they oppose on the ground that it facilitates proliferation, provides free hand to the operators, and violates the principles enshrined in the CTBT. Based on the author's reasoning, decide whether the bill should be passed by the Parliament. A bill should not be passed by the Parliament as it will facilitate possession of nuclear arsenals, harm the India's foreign relations, give free hand to the operators, and violates the essence of CTBT. Bill should be passed if the government enjoys overwhelming majority to push through its legislative agendas. Bill will not face any hurdle because the act is a balanced legislation providing prompt compensation regime, curbing the proliferation, and protecting the interests of the victims of a nuclear disaster. None of the above is a suitable choice.
It's A.
Okay, yeah. And any other option? I think it's also like pretty straightforward. I mean, B, C do not really like flow from the passage. It's kind of obvious. You
But
just
in
believe.
A, it tells that it violates the essence of CTBT.
It does actually. I
But
mean, the
India is
essence
not
of
willing to sign it, right?
yeah, but
Um,
that's not really a consideration here, no.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody was saying something.
no. That was just in response to him.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, okay, I think we are a bit short on time, so let's wrap this up quickly. Recently, a group of companies signed Treaty on Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, the first legally binding international agreement to comprehensively prohibit nuclear weapons, with the goal of leading towards total elimination. These countries are pressurizing India to sign the same. Based on the author's reasoning, decide whether India should join the TPNW or not. India should not join as it will harm the national interests comprising energy security, poverty elimination, measures and environmental commitment. India should join because it will portray the image as a rising superpower. Should only join when its concerns are resolved and the treaty regime is non-discriminatory, internationally consistent and sound. Should not come under the pressure of any country and should stand firm against any pressure from the countries like USA or TPNW member states, etc. What do you think?
So C.
Yeah, it's C. It's C.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any other option, by the way? Can we just check it once again because um, wait. Yeah, let me.
So, like you had
Yeah.
Fohan mentioned that India will only sign it according to this passage. It will only
Hmm.
sign if all the global powers are willing to, eliminate the
Hmm.
nuclear
Hmm.
weapons. That is happening over here. The agenda.
Yeah.
So, but
No, I'm just yeah. Aniket.
you can't have option A because option A says that we need to address energy concerns, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, this only talks about nuclear weapons.
Hmm.
So energy concerns is sort of it's immaterial here. So it can't be option A anyway, and option A is the only other viable option. So it
Hmm.
must.
It has to be C, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. It's C. Actually, for some reason, the answers sheet says A, so I just wanted to confirm that it's wrong. So yeah, it's C, but by the it's correct. It's C. I'll just mark this that answer is given as A. I'll just like inform them also. Can someone in the end just like put on the chat maybe or just like WhatsApp me the questions we have marked today?
Oh yes, sir.
Yeah. 7. Okay, we have half an hour left. We have two more. Okay. Um, this seems easier, smaller also. Okay, let's quick try to like wrap both of them. At least we'll do we'll start the eighth one. Okay. Yeah, just read 7 in the meantime.
So,
Yeah.
could you explain the
Done.
third para?
Yeah, sure. Let others complete and then we can come back.
Yes, sir, done.
Yeah. You're done? Okay. Political party. Political party. Okay, yeah. Anyone else who's left yet, or we can discuss? Just like just unmute yourself if you need like a couple of minutes more. Okay, I'll take that as a no. So yeah, who asked for Kirti? You were asking for third para, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What exactly do you want me to explain? This
Uh,
part?
the first line, yeah.
Yeah. So what happens is that sometimes a public, so normally only public authorities can be forced to share certain information, uh, can be forced to like share certain information which is asked by the RTI applicant. So sometimes it might be the case that the information which is possessed by the authority is not yours. The best example is income tax. Now the income tax now the income tax authority will have like a lot of details regarding the assets, income, and everything about like every single person who just like pays income tax, files ITR. Now the RTI Act says that if you have information of a third party, and if there is person A who is asking you person B about the information which primarily has been given by a third party or relates to the third party, in that scenario you have to like ask that third party, basically give an opportunity to that party to argue why that information should not be shared. So let's say your person, your Kirti, I am the authority, Kirti is an applicant, and let's say Aniket, Aniket, some information pertaining to Aniket I have, and Kirti is asking for that. Now I have to like inform Aniket, okay, that a certain person is asking for your information, and if you're comfortable with sharing the information, it's fine. If you're not, then you just come to me and make a submission as to why that information should not be shared, and I as an authority will have to take that into consideration while deciding whether to share it or not. So the test is basically public interest. So it says that okay, the public interest which is involved in sharing that information is greater than the privacy of the individual, then that information can be shared, right? So if you are asking for something which has a greater public interest and which is much more than Aniket's concern for his privacy, which is like a common ground, then information can be shared. Otherwise it will not be. So that's like the criteria. But the act, the provision, I think it's section 13 of the RTI Act, if I remember correctly. So it basically has been drafted in a way that it says that okay, the discretion is basically upon the public authority. So they will take Aniket's submission into consideration. I will take Aniket's, I will take Kirti's submission into consideration, and then I'll decide. And if Kirti or Aniket, either of them has a problem with my decision, they can just approach the appellate authority. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Great. Yeah, 7.1. What does the author feel that disclose? Why does the author feel that disclosure of information relating to judges relating to personal assets of public authorities is beneficial in the larger interest? Uh, because it puts restriction on judges to amass assets disproportionate to their known source of income. Because political leaders will fear from judges, it will bring transparency in public institution and reduces corruption. D Because RTI Act is a citizens charter and no application related to public authorities can be denied. Okay, what do you think?
C.
Let's see, sir.
Yeah, it's C. I think it's pretty straightforward, right? I mean, anyone want me to explain that? You might be
Sir, I
confused
had
with
a
A
doubt.
though. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Sir, now as you told that one person wants to know the assets of another person. So, but what is the use of knowing the assets of another person, sir? Like a common man, not of the public.
See, I mean, it doesn't say what's the use. It's basically the applicant will have to justify, and the third party, which whose information is being asked, has an opportunity to oppose that. But yes, I mean, there can be hundreds of scenarios in which like the information of a third party might be relevant. I really cannot like answer why would a person want that. Like there might be like multiple scenarios the way I think. Yeah, so one is clear. Then, on what grounds, until judgment, according to author, judges refuse to disclose information regarding their personal assets? They are not elected representatives and not answering to the public. Their personal assets do not concern any public interest. The moment a person becomes a member of higher judiciary, their personal assets get constitutional sanctity. Judges have to be trusted for the judicial system to have efficacy. Again, quite straightforward. Anyone?
A,
Okay, why A?
because they are not elected by the public.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, you're saying C. Your voice is breaking big time.
Yes, sir.
C.
C, sir. C for cat.
No, why? Why? No, constitutional sanctity is not an argument. I mean, see, I mean, it cannot be like in any case because anything which is possessed by a judge cannot like become constitutional. I mean, there is like a difference, like there's a line between judge's personal life and his role as a judge, and I don't think his asset has anything to do with it.
So,
Kirti,
but in the para they have mentioned it had to be balanced with the right of privacy of judges.
yeah, see, right to privacy, every individual had. Right to privacy is different, but personal assets getting constitutional sanctity, I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't exactly know what they mean by this, but all I'm assuming is that like it has it like I don't know. I mean, it basically is trying to say that okay, it has like a constitutional value, but again, I mean, Constitution of India is like greater than a judge or his assets. So like, just because a judge is sitting on that position, I don't think his assets automatically become that. Kirti, the reason I think A is not the answer because we have to see what author is saying, and you can find it here, lack of public interest. So we have to see what author's opinion is, and I think it's like clearly written that they cite express lack of public interest. So that is the reason B is the answer.
Yes, yes,
Got it.
yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Ghanshyam was contesting independently from Delhi South Lok Sabha seat. He refuses to share his details about his personal assets. Decide. Mr. G is bound to disclose
So what was the
personal.
answer?
It's B.
Okay.
Wait, so D
Uh,
for the previous question.
yeah, D. I'm sorry, I
E.
said B. B.
Oh, oh.
Ball. Okay. Yeah. 7.3. He refuses to share his details. Now decide. He is bound to disclose under public authority under RTI, Gansham under Representation of People Act 1951, only after he wins, and um, Lok Sabha elections are governed by Election Commission of India and not RTI. What do you think?
So is it
Again,
C?
okay, why C?
Because he becomes a representative only after he wins, right?
Yeah, I mean, so public authority is bound to disclose information only after he wins. So yeah, I mean, A and C are sort of go with each other, but the passage also talks about B. Um, this for prospective legislatures, basically, like if a person is standing, Representation of People Act mandates disclosure of information for such person as well. So B is the answer, that not RTI, not only after he wins, he has to share it under Representation of People's Act. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sorry. Sukriti files a RTI application to know about the places a Supreme Court judge visited during his family vacations in Europe. Based on the passage, decide application will be accepted because comes under RTI, will be accepted because foreign trips are made from unlawful income, will be rejected because does not come under RTI, rejected because there is no public interest involved, and it violates right to privacy of a judge.
I think it's D.
B.
Yeah, it's again quite straightforward that it doesn't involve any public interest, and it's very intrusive. Why do you want to know about someone's private matter very event publication? Indian Colaveri Day was registered as a political party recently after the RTI judgment. What impact would it have on the political party? Colaveri Day, okay, KKD will have to mandatorily disclose its funding except through elections, electoral bonds. Will have mandatorily disclose its funding, including through electoral bonds. May be mandated, cannot be enforced. Its funding under electoral bonds. Yeah. What do you
Sir,
think?
can you explain this process of electoral bonds?
Electoral bonds, it's simple. I mean, I think they have to like furnish certain bonds to the this thing, to the election commission. That's all I know. I haven't really studied election law yet, but yeah, from what I know, they have to like submit certain bonds to the election commission, and there is some provision like if they get a bond below certain percentage of votes or like something like that, then their bond will be seized. हिंदी में I think बोलते हैं जमानत जब्त हो जाना. So I think it's that thing. So yeah, so RTI judgment. So they are talking about 2005 wala RTI judgment, right? Or are they talking about Supreme Court one? Which judgment are they talking about?
I think it's Supreme Court one.
The 2005 one
No, so
or the
they're talking
recent?
of Supreme Court.
Yeah, they didn't mention 2005 anywhere.
Like they've
Okay.
mentioned judges and like Supreme Court and everything.
Plus, it talks about recent events because electoral bond is a recent issue, right? So it can't be 2005.
Yeah. Actually, let me just confirm because that doesn't make any sense because that just says कि okay, the office of Chief Justice of India is a public authority. It doesn't. I don't think it says anything about elect the parties. Where did this question even come from? I have no idea. Anyway, let me just check the answer key actually.
Is it
7.5, right? I'm sorry, just wait one second. Yeah, so it says okay. Okay, now I think I got it. It's C, may be mandated. So they are basically relying on this part. But again, I mean, it's a weird question. The judgment doesn't have any material implication on this issue. It's just saying it might pave the way. Okay, anyway, C is the answer. May be mandated to disclose its finding, but I mean, I don't even agree with this question in the first place. Anyway, we have 15 more minutes, 13 actually. So take it's a small paragraph also, not long. Yeah, so let's quickly read it and we'll try to do as many questions as we can in the next 13 minutes. Okay, take 5 minutes ASAP.
Sir,
Yep.
I have some other class at 7, so can you just tell the answers?
Okay. Sure. The answer is ADCBD.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So I won't ask since I've told you the answers. We'll just like simply discuss and then leave it. I won't ask because it doesn't make any sense now. So just like read it. We can still like at least cover some of them. And if you have any doubt, obviously you can ask me.
Sorry, sir. Thank you, sir.
No problem. If you want to leave, leave. Like if you want to take like a 10-minute break between the two classes, sure. No problem.
So could you repeat the answers?
You have to leave as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Just one second. ADCBD.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
No problem. Bye bye. Can we discuss now?
Yes,
Hello.
sir.
Great. Yeah. So yeah, I have told you the answers. So, what is the primary reason for the author being disgruntled with the proposed Indian Forest Amendment Bill? The autonomy erstwhile with the forest dwellers is being proposed to be shifted to the state. The forest dweller will lose their livelihood. The forest dweller will be unable part to sell by earning black money. This the forest dwellers by taking care of Gram Sar and investing it with the district judge. Again, like quite clearly coming from the first one. Any confusion in this? Hello?
No, sir.
Okay. Let me just wrap it up because I also have to leave by 7. Okay. Why, according to author, why, according to author, will the JFMC become defunct if the proposed bill is enacted? Um, Forest dwellers duty to ensure proper management of forest is overridden. The forest bureaucracy has better knowledge knowledge base overriding any traditional systems of the local inhabitants. The Gram Sabha will have representation from forest authority. Right to participate, forest dwellers' right to participate in the management of the forest has been dissolved. Yeah, what do you think? Hello? Anyone? Vashish, your voice is breaking big time. So I think the answer is here. So it says that FRA overrides all existing laws in recognizing and vesting powers with over forest land and resources with the development communities. So with this, hello, Vashish, your voice I cannot hear anything at all. So sorry. Just mute yourself, please. Or you can just like type on the chat if you want, if you have any question or any comment. Yes, so it actually gave everything to the forest dwelling authorities. Now the new Indian Forest Act, what is Amendment Act, is what is essentially trying to do is to like bring back all the powers. So I think that's where like that this dissolution of right to participate is coming from. Okay. Any doubt in this? Anyone? Okay. Also, I mean, I see only 4 or 5 people talking. So like others, please just like feel free to like say anything if you have any comment or anything. Don't worry. Yeah. Number 3. A bullet train corridor is proposed between Mumbai and Ahmedabad. Certain reserve forest has area has to be cleared for this. Suppose the draft bill is passed and becomes a statute. What course of action will be available to the state? The state cannot take away the reserve forest that is protected under cultural and educational rights of minorities. The state can take away the forest reserve only on consent by 51% of the local revenue. Take away the reserve C. The state can take away the reserve forest land after paying appropriate compensation to the local inhabitants. D. State can take away the reserve forest after prior permission from the Gram Sabha. What do you think is the answer? It's, I think, straightforward from the passage. Hello? Anyone? Matri, Ashita, Vijay, Meghna, Aditi, anyone else? Ayan, Sanvi, Chetna, Yash, Achut. Anyone else? Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, sir, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, so it's I think again clear from the passage itself that sees the answer. After paying appropriate compensation, I think it's given in the passage above. Do you want me to like point it out? Hello.
No, sir, got it.
Okay. 8.4. Meghmala is a tribal girl in Jharkhand. She goes to the forest, cuts timber, and uses it as fuel wood for cooking food. Suppose the Indian Forest Management Bill becomes a law, what impact would it have on Meghmala? It would have no impact. She could still go and collect timber. Will have to take permission of Forest Department. Can collect timber so long as she's using for non-commercial purposes. Gram Sabha will adjudicate upon Meghmala's case. Yeah. Again, I think it's quite clear. I mean, this is not even there. This is not even a question in the passage itself, and this is not slightly true. So, yeah, again, we'll have to take permission from the forest department. Any question on this one? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Last one. The forest department receives information regarding possible poaching of a tiger in the reserve forest area of Bengal. Suppose the above bill draft bill becomes a statute. What course of action is available to the forest department? The forest department will have to take prior permission of the forest dwellers. The forest department will have to take prior permission of the Gram Sabha. The forest department will have to take prior permission of both forest dwellers and the Gram Sabha. Forest department will have to intimate Gram Sabha. Again, what do you think? Anyone? Yeah, again, it's D. I think it's again like quite straightforward in the passage somewhere. I remember reading. Yes, just by informing Gram Sabha. Okay. So yeah, yeah, we are done with this for today. Any last minute comment or doubt or anything? Anyone? Hello.
No, sir.
No, sir. No.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So okay, nice meeting all of you. See you in the next class. Please, someone give me the questions we marked for today. I before I forget it. Do you guys have my number?
No, sir.
Okay,
No, sir.
I'll put in the chat. Yeah, this is my number. Just WhatsApp me if you have any doubt or anything. Feel free to reach out to me. I don't have any problem. I sometimes tend to zone out on WhatsApp, so please bear with me on that. But otherwise, yeah. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
No
Yes, sir.
problem.
Thank you,
Bye.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye bye.